And thank you to the Hate to Hope rally in March for asking me to speak. And thank you to the fellow speakers. My name is Katherine. And before I start about my campaign experience, I was asked to mention my most heart-wrenching experience of racism. And I'll do my best not to cry. My father, Troy Landry, was a wonderful man. He was one of those guys that thought of everyone and anyone as his friend. He picked up conversations with random strangers, and he was always willing to help them out. He was a kind, loving, caring, and generous man. He was a contractor, a construction worker, and he was working downtown Calgary on a hot summer day. So after work, he decided to stop downtown at a bar and have a few drinks. On his way out of that bar, he was viciously attacked by 6 young white males between the ages of 18 and 22. A hate crime. They severely beat my dad just for being Native. Then they took off. Somehow my dad was able to make it into a cab. Maybe random strangers helped him, I don't know. But he passed out in the cab. He was in a coma. He didn't wake up for months, and he never made it home. He eventually died in care. I was only 12 years old, and all of this happened. It dramatically traumatized me. It devastated my family. We struggled through many years of heartache, and eventually we healed. With the power of prayer and love and even forgiveness. This event made me stronger, a more capable person. I recently ran to become MLA for the constituency of Drayton Valley 7, and along my campaign trail, I received a lot of racism. Hate mail deaths daily, doors slammed in my face, my signs were vandalized, posts written on with the word "swap," and a few signs even shot. Someone even had the nerve to post on my Facebook page, "I support NDP and I support Katherine. It's just too bad she has a higher chance of turning up missing than winning in this constituency." This comment, of course, is referring to the thousands of missing and murdered Indigenous women across Canada. Getting close to the election date, I felt exhausted, and I admit, I let it get to me. It really was devastating. I was very much hurt by these actions. Just to mention, a fellow NDP candidate from out east, Jacqueline Tuplin, or Jack as everyone calls her, experienced racism along her campaign trail, and shortly after her election day, she suddenly passed away. Suicide. It's caused from hate. And it's hard to be hated for being yourself. We shouldn't be hated, nor should we let such hate hurt us. We need to embrace being ourselves. We need to love being ourselves. And we do embrace and love being ourselves. Yes, it tore me down, but I couldn't let it keep me there. I stood up. I'm still here. I'm still a proud Niki Outwood. I rose to the occasion, and I will continue my pursuit. I have to be resilient. We have to be resilient. Not just for ourselves, but for the young people everywhere, to know that hate will not and cannot stop. With proper education and tolerance, one day hate like this will no longer exist. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy. I stand before you today as a woman, a transgender woman, a spouse, and a father, and I'm very proud to be here today to be all of those things. Society is so much more accepting, isn't it? And doesn't it feel good? Society pats itself on the back for being so accepting. But how can you be more accepting? You either accept something or you don't. These words were said to me by a transgender woman in Calgary just this week, after she had a horrible experience recently when she tried to seek help to to stop her attempt at suicide. We are a society that produces hate, that pushes a man to stab 6 people in a pride parade in Jerusalem, only just 10 years or after being released from prison for doing the same thing 10 years ago. I hope we as a society will also gather to mourn the death of one of those victims who died earlier today. We are a society who is appalled that a beautiful, majestic creature was killed in a Zimbabwe trophy hunt. Yet we are a society that doesn't even hardly notice that 11 transgender women, mostly women of color, were murdered in the United States this year. And when media does notice, they call them by their male names and use male pronouns. We are a society who are outraged enough that we would hunt down the lion hunter himself at his home, his business, and across social media. Now I wonder what would happen if society showed that much outrage for all the murdered and missing Aboriginal women in this country. We are a more accepting society, yet some parents still kick their children out of home when they begin to express who they truly are. There is a reason why LGBTQ youth are overrepresented in our homeless population. Our society is more accepting, yet a 7-year-old transgender girl is scared to go to school because she can't use the girls' bathroom. In a more accepting society, hardly a day goes by where I wonder if this is the day I get yelled at in a public ladies' washroom. Is this the day that a group of guys making catcalls at me realize my truth and then attack me? Is this the day I get called for a job interview but the sound of my voice inspires them to hire another candidate? Is this the day? So what do? Well, we continue to attend pride parades. We continue to show compassion for the death of a lion. We show compassion for his hunter. We remember the names of the murdered transgender women that continue to fight in their honor. We honor the murder and missing Aboriginal women and hold our governments accountable for their justice. We continue to be visible and to educate so parents and families see the gifts in their sexual and gender diverse children. And when this fails, we are there to help provide a safe place for these children in our schools and in our society. We continue to express our right to use public spaces that matches our true gender and stand up for children who want to do the same. We continue to walk down the streets in our community with pride and with confidence, our heads held high. We continue to live, love, survive, and thrive. And we do this together, people of all sexualities, of all genders, all races and colors and cultures, people of all faiths and people who do not practice the faith. We stand together so that we can change hate into hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Marni. Can we please have Manwar?
Thank you, Sherry. I'm very pleased to be here to join the 4th annual Hate to Hope rally. Thanks for inviting me to speak today here. This is really an honor for me. Let's be honest, I'm not a writer. I haven't written any book, or I'm not a regular on national TV or radio. All I have is my story. I'm a Muslim Canadian who was born in Bangladesh and raised in Bangladesh by 2 lovely parents. I came to Canada in 2001. 2 years ago, an incident changed my life. On December 28, 2012, I was going home from work. I witnessed a deadly bleeding incident on Eglinton LRT. 1 young man died. I tried to intervene that day, thinking that others would do the same, but that didn't happen. I certainly don't blame any other passengers on the train today, but I felt terrified as well. Then when I thought about my kids, and that triggered me to step forward and try to intervene in that situation. Obviously, I was not successful. That person died. And that day, I realized that every common person has the strength to stand up against violence and discrimination. We, bystanders, have a role to play. You cannot be silent when things like this happen. You just cannot walk away from there and pretend that it's not happening. If I'm here today not only as Manwar Khan, I'm here as a voice of victims of bullying and violence in our province. They need your support. We need to stand up for them. That's why I'm here today, asking for your support, demanding for your support, requesting for your support. Can we break our culture of silence? After this event, can we go home and speak at least to people and tell them to speak up for others and convince them to tell this story to other people? I'm not asking you all to become Mahatma Gandhi or Martin Luther King. All I'm asking is to, in your limited world, can you open your minds? Can you open your hearts? Can you give them the strength when they need it, when they feel weak? Can you give them the support when they may be having a hard time standing on their own? Thank you so much.